Hello. So you might be interested in joining the lab, and I created these short talks simply to talk about the lab guidelines and some information about how we do research in the lab. So this talk is not specifically about research. It is more about the day-to-day dynamics in the lab. And in terms of research, just to touch base briefly, you can look at more details in the research tab. There are three main areas where we do work. This is phylogenomics, statistical genomics, and microbiome research. And you can read more about this in the specific research tab. But like I said, today is more about how do you join the lab if you're not currently enrolled at UW, and also more on the lab dynamics. If you're currently enrolled at UW, you can just email me and then we can chat. But if you're not and you want to apply to a PhD program, there are two main ways to do it. For those that are mathematically oriented, they can apply to either the PhD in statistics or the PhD in mathematics. And for those students that are more biologically oriented, they could apply to the PhD in plant pathology. This is the department where I am. And the application information is on my website, and usually the deadlines are early December every year. And I'll be happy to help anyone through this application process. So please email me if you have this interest, and I'll be happy to help you. One thing to point out to students that are biologically oriented is that my lab is completely dry. So you need to have an interest in bioinformatics or computational biology. And students that do want to go to a PhD in plant pathology, but they do have this interest in bioinformatics, then there are different ways in which they can take necessary classes. They can enroll either in a master's in statistics or master's in data science or in biometry. Or if they don't want to enroll in a master, but they still want to take classes, they can do so through the minor in quantitative biology. So there are many options here at UW for those that are interested in bioinformatics and computational biology. Students that are not particularly interested in these two areas, but will still like to work with me, collaborate with me or work with me in the lab, I'll be happy to co-advise them with another faculty in plant pathology. So make sure to check out the website, identify someone that shares research interest with you, and then email us both. One thing to point out is that there are other options. I'm hosted in the Department of Plant Pathology, but there are also possibility of advising students from other departments like botany, microbiology, entomology. So there are different options, and there's always potential for co-advising situations or being part of student committees. So just make sure to check out the different possibilities at UW, or just also email me. In terms of the lab guidelines, there are three main things that we try to do in the lab. So we try to do research that is reproducible. We write code that is clear, understandable, and readable by humans. And we care about science communication. This is on top of doing good science. We believe in the lab that it's not enough to do good science, that it really matters that the science that we do is reproducible, it's clear, and it's well presented, written, and visually. So more specifically, there are other types of guidelines that we like to follow for members, that they take ownership of their own experience, that they are team players, develop strong research skills, and obviously improve oral and written communication skills. And on my side, as a PI, as a mentor, I will promote every member as a scientist, help them achieve their goals, and I'm committed to mentor them even after they leave the lab. I try to be supportive, accessible, encouraging, and respectful, and also remind people of these three guidelines: reproducibility, clear code, and communication, over and over. And everything that we do, because of the reproducibility craze, it's on GitHub. And so knowledge of Git and GitHub is a must to join the lab. But if you don't have this knowledge yet, it's okay, because we can get started on learning those basics. And you can check out the projects that are already there. And specifically, there is this lab dynamics repository when there's a lot more information than the one I'm presented here. So here I try to summarize some of the guidelines, but you can read more in the specific Markdown file lab guidelines, and also the onboarding steps and the project plan, which is something that every member in the team needs to have. And lastly, but not least, in this lab, we strive to be inclusive, diverse, and tolerant for every member. And we try to build an atmosphere that is welcoming to and accepting of everyone. So we're constantly reminding ourselves to pay attention to our implicit biases in hopes of being aware of them and not let them lead our lives. So we try to create a welcoming environment for people. Okay, so just in conclusion, the group is highly interdisciplinary. There's something for everyone. Either you love very strict mathematical theory or computational implementations or applications. We have teams. I mean, I didn't want to put numbers because I want to keep this talk there regardless of the year, but we have teams of postdocs, grad students, undergrads, and we do collaborative work with people in and outside UW on a variety of applications, from human to soybeans to carrots to potatoes, everything in between. So thank you very much for your interest, and I'll be happy to answer any emails from people. Thank you.